Hello everybody, this is the iFan channel here, and today I'm actually going to leave Trieste and take a 1.5 hour bus ride to Ljubljana via Flixbus. Yes, Flixbus. Remember, I went from Venice to Ljubljana using Flixbus last year, but now I'm actually going to take the Trieste to Ljubljana, so basically half the way. So why not? I'm actually going to go out of the hotel and see you guys at the bus station. Now, fortunately, because the hotel is very close to the bus station, therefore I only had to walk like 3 minutes to the bus station, and I'm currently on the bus now from Trieste to Ljubljana. This bus goes all the way to Krakow in Poland, but I'm not going all the way to Krakow in Poland. In fact, I'm just stopping at, you guessed it, Ljubljana, just like last year. As you can see, I'm currently in the Flixbus. Like, this will take 1.5 hours, and ironically, the video in the hotel you've seen was actually recorded just 10 minutes before this. 10 minutes, which shows how close the hotel is to this bus station. After about 1.5 hours, I finally arrived in Ljubljana, Slovenia. Basically, remember last year when I did have laryngitis and arrived in Ljubljana actually in cloudy weather and during the rain? Well, this is actually sunny weather. I'm actually going to go to McDonald's. Actually going to take a 10-minute walk to the center to actually see the center, because I do think Ljubljana is one of the most beautiful European cities out there. Okay guys, I just arrived at McDonald's, where I do get a Big Mac, fries, as well as, you guessed it, a chicken burger. I'm actually going to eat fast to catch the bus to the airport. After eating, I'm just going to hang out in this area called Presenov Tiergi for maybe about 5 minutes until I do have to go to the airport. Who knows if I'm able to rent a car or not. Basically, like, I'm under 25, so it could be kind of tricky to rent a car. But as you can see, this is actually, you guessed it, the Franciscan Church of the Annunciation, which is actually a Baroque church, and over there is actually the Tromostovje, which is actually a bridge. And if you were to see at the very top is actually Ljubljanski Grad, basically the Ljubljana Castle. So why not? I'm going to go to the airport now, because I'm kind of running short on time, and the McDonald's did take a while. Basically, after a while, I did enter the bus. I'm now heading towards the Ljubljana Airport and possibly rent a car, but I really don't know, because rental car companies are kind of secretive when it comes to the do not rent lists. But I'm kind of worried, because I'm kind of a new driver. I've like only driven like maybe for the past 5 years. Really, like basically around late 2010s, early 2020s. So yeah, basically my license is sort of new, but luckily I do have an IDP here, as I'll show you. As you can see, this is what my IDP looks like. Okay guys, after a while at the car rental, I finally got my car. This is actually the Renault Captur, another French car. Basically, I did rent another car called the Citroën C4, of which I did do a review on YouTube. I don't think I do have time for review, but here is the car, and I'll show you guys the inside. As you can see, this is what the inside looks like. I'm going to take it for a drive to Bled and Hallstatt, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay guys, after about 30 minutes nearly going the wrong way at the airport parking lot to being confused at the roundabouts, I finally arrived in Bled, accident free, as you can see. Yeah, I was quite nervous at the beginning, but in reality, basically, like after 5 minutes of leaving the airport, everything went smooth. So as you can see, this is actually the Bled, but I'm not sure the parking situation here. I might have to ask somebody, but I'll see you guys when I arrive at Bled. I'm now currently in Bled. It is currently cloudy, but as you can see, over there is actually the Bled Island. Over here is actually Bled Lake, Lake Bled, and over there is actually the Assumption of Maria Church. Now, Bled is actually lauded as one of the most beautiful scenery in all of Europe. One of the sources I actually got was actually the Grand Tour in their Eurocrash episode, when it did say Bled is one of the most scenic spots throughout all of Europe. Basically on par with Switzerland and stuff. Now I'm just hiking through Bled. I'm thinking of either going to the castle or the church, but I'm not really sure which is the better deal. But as you can see, it is quite stunning and of course very relaxing to actually go through here. But unfortunately there are a lot of villas which are actually gated over here. Basically, I'm not sure if people actually live in these villas or not, or if they're more like hotels or something. But like, you gotta be a multi-millionaire to be able to afford really anything nearby. As you can see, it is also extremely stunning over here, but the bushes do hide some of the view of the castle. I meant the church, sorry. So why not just continue hiking some bit more. After a few more minutes walking, I'm very close to the Bled viewpoint. And here it is. This is where Bled's beauty is definitely exemplified. As you can see, over there is the Assumption of Maria Church, and over there the Dinaric Alps. Very, very scenic and relaxing. This is where many people attribute Bled's beauty to. Is basically this viewpoint over here is basically the perfect spot to view this church. Basically, the whole Lake Bled is actually 2120 by 1380 meters, and basically this whole lake is actually 1.45 square kilometers big. I'm not even joking. That's how big it is. It is quite small compared to many of the Great Lakes in the US, but quite scenic at the same time. And the waters could go as deep as around 30 meters or nearly 100 feet. So basically it is not really safe to swim, but it is going to be really scenic if you could ride a boat through Lake Bled. It is absolutely stunning here. I really can't believe it. Now I'm going to walk all the way to Bled Castle. Basically, here's some fun facts about the island. The island is actually home to the Assumption of Mary Church, just like I told you several times. It was actually built during the 17th and 18th century in its current form, but their Gothic embellishments, which were built as early as 1470. Basically, the spire is about 170 feet or 50 meters tall, which is quite tall, but not as tall as many of the cathedrals in other parts of Europe, but at least the Assumption of Mary Church is quite scenic. It is definitely more scenic than really any other like cathedral in Europe, even if it's smaller, as Bled is basically just a very small village in Slovenia, but a very popular tourist destination as well, just like Switzerland and Hallstatt, Austria. Basically, like the method of transportation to get from Bled to the Bled Island is actually called a pletner. Yes, pletner is actually a type of boat. Basically, after enjoying a view of the Church of the Assumption, I'm now going to hike my way up to the Bled Castle, which was actually built during the 11th century, basically the Middle Ages. Wow, the forest. It actually cools me down so much, even if I'm allergic to many plants and stuff and pollen. And it's springtime, ironically. Now the castle is a 15-minute walk, but I do have to go through this extremely steep step over here. I don't know if I could fall or not, but let's try. Oh my goodness, it's so damn steep. I had to hold on tight. Whew. Oh shit. Finally! Wow, I really can't believe it. It is so damn steep. My goodness. Anyways, I'll try to make it up there without tripping down. I'm now close to the Bled Castle, and wow, look at some of the excruciating steps I had to take. Basically a lot of cliffs and stuff, or near cliffs. I do have to climb up like a lot, and I'm currently like at least 100 meters or even maybe several hundred above sea level, basically from all this ascending. And I do have to trek through this crazy like slope here before I could get to the Bled Castle. But wow, this is actually a scenic view, so beautiful. In fact, I think this is basically akin to Switzerland.
We can take a
As you can see, there are even several more steps. Oh my goodness, I nearly fell several times actually because of this. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. It will take a while, but it is quite fun to hike through this extreme slope. But after this, I think maybe it will be good. Who knows? But it's definitely arduous. to actually go through this. And yeah, I think it's finally stabilized now. Finally, after 20 minutes of perilous walking, I finally arrived at the Bled Castle. I don't know if I would even pay for tickets because my parking would expire in about 40 minutes. But as you can see, crazy, absolutely crazy. We had to climb through all these cliffs and stuff and slopes. But now we have more simple stairs. I know, it's been really tough, but I did get some exercise and I might have lost at least several grams of weight. Now over there, if you can see, is actually the castle, the Bled Castle. I'm thinking of going down now. Wow, it has been quite a long journey to get up here, quite perilous in fact. I nearly essentially fell down and twisted my kneecap essentially, but here you go. There's actually parking over here, but I actually parked in the other side. Unfortunately, I do believe parking here is quite expensive, but why not? I'm actually going to go out of the castle now. In fact, why not? Since I've already climbed all the way here, why not I just go to the castle? As you can see, this absolutely gorgeous up here, and you could even see nicer views of Bled. I do pay just for the views, in fact. Same with parking and same with renting a car. I basically pay just for the beauty of this. Basically just to look at the mountains of Austria and stuff, just to go to Hallstatt, rather than ride a train and it'd be boring or something, or ride a bus and it'd be boring and slow. Basically, I do know it's not really financially wise to rent the car for the whole trip. I do know that. That's why I only rent for one day to go to these two special locations, Bled and Hallstatt. So why not? Over here is so stunning. I'm now finally on top of the Bled Castle, 600 meters above sea level. I'm not even joking, 600 meters. And over here the view is even more scenic. As you can see, you can actually see the Julian Alps. I'm sorry if I say the Dinaric Alps. I'm always used to the Dinaric Alps, but it is really the Julian Alps over here, and the view is absolutely stunning. Well, this castle was first mentioned in the year 1011 AD, which was actually during the medieval era. It is actually first mentioned in a deed of donation issued by Emperor Henry II to the bishops of Brixen, and it actually remained as a residence of the bishops for at least 8 centuries. And basically this castle does include many of the museums related to the history of Lake Bled. Basically nowadays a very charming tourist destination, but before it was just a castle. Over here is a museum. I actually did pay a good sum of money to actually enter this castle, even though I'm quite frugal. I do believe this is actually worth the visit, even though it costs 17 euros or 11 euros for students. Whether or not you're an undergrad or graduate or even a recent alumni, they wouldn't even tell. I'm now currently in the museums, and according to the museum, there were 2 earthquakes in 1511 and in 1690 that actually devastated the castle. And the castle you see today was actually built throughout the 16th and 17th centuries in its current form. It is actually in the late Gothic architectural style, and over here it will actually show some artifacts ranging from these to these. Basically, I do believe these are actually artifacts from the Lake Bled. I'm now in another section where it does show even more artifacts. As you can see, I do believe this has to do with the Stone Ages or something. But here it is. Here are some objects used in the Lake Bled throughout the years. Basically, this also includes materials used to mine iron. Not only does this castle actually talk about Bled's history since the Middle Ages, it actually talks about Bled's history during the age of hunter-gatherers. I'm not even joking. Over here, as you can see, basically it does show some of the artifacts the Neanderthals actually used. If you don't know what the Neanderthal is, they're basically an offshoot of the Homo erectus. You have Homo sapiens and then you have Neanderthals. Unfortunately, Neanderthals did go extinct like many thousand years ago, I believe like 30 or 40,000 years ago, before the ice ages. I'm currently in the second floor of the Bled Castle, and over here is actually the camera Janez Puha actually used He was actually born in the 19th century and actually died at 50 in the 19th century. Well, basically, he's considered the first photographer in Slovenia, having taken pictures of Bled as well as the castle over here. Basically, here are some of the pictures, including this over here of the Bled Castle. And tourists did go into the Bled Castle en masse starting in the 19th century with wealthy people owning villas, as I showed you guys before during my hike. Basically over here it does show the history of the castle. Basically I do believe these are all the emperors and stuff through the 19th century over here. Basically ending in like around 1803. But as you can see, some of the major events include, you guessed it, the earthquake as well as another earthquake. Definitely there's renovation for sure, which actually makes the castle look more like this. And as you can see, here's another room. Now, even though tourism started booming in the 19th century, tourism actually started in Bled since the Middle Ages. Yes, it is crazy how people during the Middle Ages actually travel, but maybe they don't travel like us. Solo travelers might be kind of rare during the Middle Ages, but here is some ware and cutlery, porcelain and silver during the 20th century, and here are some more materials and stuff, basically the artifacts. But look at the view here. It is absolutely impressive from up here. I really can't believe it. Over here is actually a map of Lake Bled during the mid-18th century. And lastly, in the second floor, here are some more artifacts from Lake Bled, including some people who might have lived in Lake Bled during the Middle Ages. And finally, this is basically the last place I'll visit in this castle. In the third floor, this is actually the bowing section over here. It does show several bows and arches, as you can see, ranging from several different people. And basically, I do believe this guy might be featured, but I'm not too sure. But here it is, some famous bowers in Slovenia and maybe throughout Yugoslavia. And basically this guy would actually be featured sometime in about several months, I do believe so, or throughout the next several months. And here's another view before I get out of the castle. I'm now on my way down to the car, but walking could be very arduous at times because there are a lot of rocks and stuff, and it is actually a slope downhill. So yeah, I could easily fall, who knows. I'm still scared of this journey, just like the before journey. After a perilous walk downhill, but without falling, but nearly falling. In fact, my hands actually got dirty because I did have to sit on the dirt. I finally made it to asphalt road. Yes, paved roads, of course, is much better than these dirt paths by a billion times. It's much easier to walk now. And I'm going to get to my car before it gets towed. I now finally returned to my car and I'm now heading towards, you guessed it, the city of Hallstatt in Austria. So I'll see you guys when I arrive in Austria. After about 3 hours driving through endless beauty, basically continuous mountains, I finally arrived in Hallstatt, Austria, which is another very beautiful village, just like Bled in Slovenia. And over here it is, as you can see, the mountains. It is just absolutely scenic. Over there is my car, and why not? I'm actually going to go to Hallstatt. Who knows what I'll eat, or if I'll eat here, or if I will not, as Hallstatt is kind of a big tourist trap, in my opinion, and therefore food will be quite expensive. But whatever, let's enjoy our time here. After having my car parked, I'm currently walking through Hallstatt, which does have basically only several thousand people. Actually, no, there are only 778 people who are residents of Hallstatt. But it's absolutely gorgeous if you're actually a resident of this town, because you would actually see mountains basically every day. But I do believe the daily number of tourists outnumber the residents by at least several times. Hence the several thousand mark. It's absolutely insane for tourists to vastly outnumber the residents. Kind of like Venice, but this is kind of more extreme because there are only several hundred people living here. I'm still deciding on whether or not I should eat in Hallstatt or should I just eat in like Klagenfurt or Villach or something else. Because Hallstatt is a tourist destination and therefore food is going to be quite expensive compared to Klagenfurt and stuff, which are like just regular cities in Austria. But as you can see, one of these houses are like on the top of the mountain. I really don't understand how to even get up to these houses. I do think these houses are quite sturdy and therefore they might not collapse. As you can see, these houses and stuff might be even several hundred years old, but they've still stood the test of time. But it's quite difficult to even get up these houses. Yeah, but nonetheless, I'm actually going to walk around Hallstatt, which is actually a UNESCO heritage site. I just arrived here, which is quite synonymous with iconic Hallstatt. Now, Hallstatt was only reachable by like the lake until like the late 19th century when they actually built a road. And even though tourism did start in the 19th century, just like with Bled, in fact in 1997 when Hallstatt was actually declared a UNESCO heritage site, 10 to 30,000 tourists each day visit Hallstatt. Yes, only 780 residents, but 10 to 30,000 per day. In fact, tourism is so high that residents even complain about the tourism. Yes, the over-tourism. But some did go through. In fact, the tourism numbers did cool down to around 10,000 per day during high season and stuff. Now, despite the fact Hallstatt is essentially overrun by tourists, there are actually two churches over here. Basically, these two, there might be some more, but I don't know. This is a very small village with less than 1,000 people. But basically, over here is where the iconic portrait of Hallstatt is, around here. I think that's the 7 o'clock bell, so why not let's just go around. I'm not sure if I could stay here any longer, but why not? I walk all the way there. Now, even though I could not get to the exact places where the iconic Hallstatt photographs were taken, remember like this? In fact, this is actually the closest I could get. But as you can see, it's absolutely scenic with all the mountains and stuff. It is really, really nice. Basically, the whole region here is Hallstatter Sea. And I really love this. Even if it's overrun by tourism and there's not much good food options. Over here, kind of exemplifies the iconicity of all of this. Basically with some village houses and stuff. So why not I just go somewhere else. Even though I really love to enjoy time in this like small village and quaint village because it's absolutely gorgeous with all the mountains, I really don't know what to eat because the food here are kind of rated horribly, like 2 or 3 stars. Basically many restaurants which are quite good are actually rated above 4 stars in Boston. So I'm not really sure where to eat here. But this is absolutely gorgeous. Same with anything on the way home to Slovenia would be gorgeous. Basically anything really from Hallstatt to like Bled, like it's just continuous mountain. So who knows? But let's see. Basically, instead of actually eating at Hallstatt, why not I eat at a McDonald's about an hour away over here? I'm actually going to just order some food, maybe take some fuel, and then return to the hotel before midnight. Okay guys, over here is my meal. I'm sorry there's some bugs and stuff, but this is my meal. I'm actually going to eat and then I'm going to return to the hotel as fast as possible, but safely. After about 3 hours of driving, yes, 3 hours, I finally arrived at my hotel at around 12:50. As you can see, basically very similar to last year, because I actually slept at the very same hotel, B&B Ljubljana Park. Remember that laryngitis infested time? Yeah. Basically, here's the restroom. A lot of it is very similar. So thank you guys for watching. Please give a big thumbs up, subscribe for more videos. Yeah, I just want to go to sleep now. So thank you guys for watching.